Hey everybody, Scott Pierce here. Excuse me, at Listings to Leads. Welcome to the call today. We're going to be going over how to use the complete marketing plan to get your home sold from listings to leads, to win more listing presentations, to get yourself in front of more homeowners in a variety of different ways. And so if you want to let me know that you can see my screen and hear me talking, Monica, good to see you. Awesome. With Just Realty in South Texas. Welcome to the call today, Monica. Great to see you and everybody else. So yeah, go ahead and type in where you're coming in from. Let's just give it a quick minute for people to log in. And Monica, I don't see you, but thank you for joining us, Patrick. Good to see you. And I did put, so if you are not in the mastermind group, and I'm going to add to this a little bit later today, I'll be referring to a couple of things. There's a couple of things that you can buy, and I'll talk more about this in today's call. But for example, a print flyer with an acrylic holder to put at an open house, to print up. For example, some people will find expireds and canceleds and even FSBOs. They'll print this up and bind it and mail it or door knock with it. And I'll be covering all of that today, plus a lot of other great things as well. Maria from Claremont, Florida. Awesome. Zeeland, Michigan. Amber, where is Zeeland? I'm actually from Flint, Michigan originally. So I know of Zeeland. I just can't think where it is right now. Scottsdale, beautiful. Went to graduate school down in Glendale. On the other side of Phoenix. Scottsdale is the nice side. Glendale is the other side. Great areas. Fort Myers, perfect. Going to be down there next week. Can't wait. Spokane, Washington. Awesome. Atlanta, Tamara, good to see you. Julie Locke. Oh, and Julie, where are you? I know where you're from, but let me see what you put there. Yeah. All right, perfect. Awesome. Zeeland is near Holland. Yep, on Lake Michigan. Yeah, I know Holland for sure. Okay, that makes sense. Looks like we got a lot of people on the call, so that is phenomenal. Let's get yourself over to listingstoleads.com. Go ahead and log into your account. And some of the stuff you can do with me, you can follow along with me if you'd like to. So there are a few different versions of this. So we've got versions where you can create them specifically for a particular listing presentation that you're going to go on, whether it's a standard listing presentation. You can create them for a canceled listing, an expired listing, a FSBO listing. These are phenomenal where you want to give them something that's super powerful. And think about this. To generate a seller lead on Facebook, it's going to cost you between 10 to 20 bucks. All right. That's a Facebook lead, 10 to 20 bucks. Google might be $30 to $50. There are constantly canceled and expireds happening. There are FSBOs happening. And we've got a whole marketing module for expireds and FSBOs. But on top of that, to be able to create a 26-page marketing plan that you can take over to them while everybody else is calling them up on the telephone. Maybe they're dropping an email to them talking about this or that. You could literally print this up. And I looked it up on ChatGPT the other day, and I've done this a few times in different places. It seems like it will cost about $8 to $10 to print this up on a laser printer. And I looked at laser printers in the $100 to $200 range. So nothing too crazy. I don't want to go too high end. So your office may have a printer that you can use and print these up and deliver them. All right. Door knock, you can mail them. I know some people will put these in the mail. So let's take a look at that first. And then I'm going to go to, there's a tab here called listing presentation. And this is a general one that you can use when you need to. But before I get to that one, let me just show you back on my listing dashboard in my account. So these have already been added. You can see I've got a canceled listing here. I've got a listing status, listing presentation. So this would be a home that I added to my listings to leads account. I went out and took a photo, uploaded it, and I'll show you how to do this a little bit. And now I've got this entire presentation to present at the listing presentation. Our clients are calling this a game changer. It helps you defend your commission. It helps you get them to cancel with other agents if they got any scheduled. It helps you, your stress level, because now instead of having, when they ask you the question, how are you going to market my home? You're coming in with an absolute cannon to a knife fight. Might not be the best analogy in the world, but you get my point. Julie says laser printer makes a difference. Laser printers are usually faster and cheaper, I believe, but I just did that because of a lot of people have I did a Canon printer, a HP printer in the kind of $150 to $200 range, something that a lot of people may have at their home, but your office may have a printer where, in fact, let me ask you guys, does your office have a printer that they allow you to use? And if so, how much does it cost you per page? That's actually would be a great question to know. And do a lot of you have printers at your house? You may have a home office, you got a printer there. Rusty, holy crap. Wow, free. Wow. Man, oh man. Truth. If you can print for free, holy cow. Let me show you this. Again, here's a cancel listing. Let me just show it to you. I'm going to click on, and again, I'm going to show you how to add this to your account and create these in just a few minutes. I use Office Max for high-end prints. Yeah. Okay, Monica. Yep. All right, perfect. You know what I did? Okay, so what I did here on this one, on the cover page, so here's the cover page. It's got the home of the expired, the canceled, the listing presentation, the FSBO. And then on the back, the very back page, I use a heavier paper. I can't remember, like a 40 or 50 pound paper. And then on the interior pages, I just use regular laser. And I think that presents a lot better. Now, if I'm going into a listing presentation, I would not use this kind of a holder or a binder. I would get a nicer one, and I'll find one and I'll put it in the mastermind group a little bit later. But if I'm going to go mail this or door knock with a expired, a canceled, or a FSBO, this one right here would be perfect. And I'll show you the machine that I use to print this. It's super easy. It's a $57 machine. But check this out. So this is a canceled listing. And I've got a landing page. I've got a flip book. And I'll go through these in a second. I just want to show you the 3 different versions of it. So there's a landing page that people can fill out and download it. There is a flip book, and then there's this PDF. And on all 3 of these versions, notice the complete marketing plan to get your, in this case, canceled, home sold, prepared for Franco Latte at 689 Whitney Elm Way in Folsom, California. Here is the flip book. And again, you can see the same thing, prepared for homeowners at homeowner's name, the address of the property, and this is their home. So either you can get a Google Street View photo, you can go take a photo of the property. I would not be taking photos from the previous listing agent. That's just a great way to show them that you're not going to do anything different right off the bat. So you want to get your own photo. And again, I'm going to show you how to add this to listings to leads. But first, as you can see here, you can go through this. And when you are in a listing presentation, or you give this to an expired homeowner and they go through this, or a canceled homeowner, a FSBO homeowner, and they go through this and they see their home on every single page, they can scan this QR code and their single property website is going to come up on the phone. And what this does, I'm telling you, this is so powerful. I'm going to scan it. I always love scanning this. So I scan it, comes up on my phone. You can see that right there. That is exactly what's on the page. Absolutely a game changer. This will show those cancels. In fact, we had a client use this for a FSBO, got a listing recently, a client for, I can't remember, I think it was expired. And the expired homeowner called him up and he said, my last agent didn't do any of this stuff, right? I don't know what the agent did, but the expired called the agent after sending this. I said, my agent didn't do any of this stuff. Absolute game changer for you, because now with just a photograph and about 2 to 3 minutes of work, you can have this prepared. And again, look at this. Every single image in here is of their home. So let's go back in and let's first, and so this is the PDF. So the PDF is what you would want to print, and I'll show you where to do the introduction. And it's just the same as the PDF. All right. Every single page is the homeowner's home. And the best way to use this from people I've talked to is let's talk about a listing presentation first. They will print it up. All right. They'll print up the PDF version with a nicer binder, with a nice folder. They will have the flip book and they will give them the print version as a leave behind so that when they leave the listing presentation, the homeowners have something that they can look at. I'm telling you, no other agent is going to have anything nearly as close as this. And again, it's going to help you defend your commissions. It's going to help your stress levels, because you're not going to have to sit there and remember and try to memorize every single thing you're doing, because it's here. And if you're doing a few other things, like maybe you do a 3D tour, maybe you do a property video, that's awesome. You can mention that as well. And you can, if you want to include a slick for, that's great. But now you will have a leave behind that they're not going to throw it away. This is going to sit on their table for even, it would be beautiful after you list the property and you do the open house. And you've got this, and this is one of the things I always recommend when you go to an open house, and we'll talk more about that in a little bit, but having this having this at your open house can be phenomenal, so that when all the neighbors come through, all the buyers with the home that they have to sell, they can take a look at this and you will get more listings from your open houses as well. So let's go take a look at how to prepare this for the listing presentation first. Let's go back to the listings dashboard. And I just need the right type of paper. Yeah, Rotosha. I hope I pronounced your name right. Apologies if I didn't. Yeah, like I said, the standard laser printer paper for the inside pages, and then the cover page and the last page, I use a heavier paper just because it gives it a little bit more oomph. But I don't want to use that on the inside pages, because then it can get a little stiff when people are thumbing through it. But if you just use standard laser printer for the cover, then, that just feels a little bit, I don't want to say cheap isn't the right word, but a little weak maybe. So having that cover page in particular be the thicker paper really gives it a lot of weight, makes it very nice. Awesome. I'm glad I pronounced your name right. That's awesome. So when you got a listing presentation coming up, what you're going to want to do is come in here and go add listing, manual. And if you want to just get it started, and maybe you get a phone call and you don't have time to go out and take the photo or grab a photo yet, you can add it as draft and then just come back to it later and change it to listing presentation. So what we want, those status listing presentation. I'm going to add the seller's name, Usha. And there we go. I'm just making that up. I know that's not your last name. I'm going to do the phone number, headline. I just do beautiful home in whatever the area is. And that's all you have to do. I don't have to, I'm sorry, street address, city, state, and that's all right, except for the photo. So do that. If you want to throw in a property description, that's great. Photo and video. In this case, we're just doing photos. And I will just add a photo from my account. I'm going to add this one right here. Now, if you go take the photo, click the upload button, upload the photo here, and then you can select it. So I'll just click insert. And that will insert it. So let's give it a second here. And it's the same process for canceled, expired, and FSBO as well. As I mentioned, and I'll show those to you a little bit later, we can do that for canceled listings. One of the great things that one of our clients does is every day they take a look at My Plus Leads. They see all the expires and cancels coming through in particular. You can also look at the FSBOs. And if there's any that they are really dying to get, that they're like, if I had this listing, it's a great listing, it's in my farm area, they will prepare this. So save. And that's it. So here we go. Here's 151 Tomlinson, 151 Tomlinson Drive. Now I'll click the flip book. It'll take about a minute or two to prepare, but we can look at the landing page here real quickly. The complete marketing plan to get 151 Tomlinson Drive, Folsom, California sold for the highest and best offer. And you can see there's the property. It's a little bit small, but the homeowner's name and address is right here as well. And they can download this. One of the use cases for the landing page is after the listing presentation. What a few people have told me that they do is after the listing presentation, they will email the landing page to the homeowner with a thank you for meeting with me and I'm super excited to list your property. If anybody else would like to take a look at my marketing plan to get your home sold, they can access it through this landing page, which is phenomenal because now the homeowner may share that with their family. They may share it with other people. And when they download it, you'll get their name, email, and phone number. So that's really cool. We'll come back to this in a minute, but let's take a look at, and again, that takes about a minute or two to prepare. I should have gone to listings. And when it's ready, right here, 151 Tomlinson Drive, listing presentation, it'll look just like this one as well, right? 1200 Riley Street in Folsom, listing presentation. And when I click on the property address, one of the things I would totally do is under market listing, there's an email. In this email, I would send this out via whatever CRM you're using. You can send it out through listings to leads. I would get this out to all of the people in my database. And what this is letting your database know that you're meeting with a local homeowner who's considering selling their home and they might be open to a private sale before going public. If you're still thinking, or if you're still looking, would you want a first look at this home before it hits the market? These kinds of opportunities go to buyers on my VIP list who get exclusive access to homes before the competition. And send this to your database. And that way, when you walk into that, now there's nothing about the listing address in here. There's no photos, there's no address, there's nothing about the particular property, but it's a great, and what you might want to do is maybe put the neighborhood name in here if you wanted to. You might say it's a 3-bedroom home in American River Canyon, something like that. So that would give a little bit more information to people. And if you get a response from people, you can let the homeowner know, listen, I've got 250 people in my database that are looking to buy, and I've got 5 people that would love to see your home, just to give the homeowner a little bit more confidence about what you're doing on top of this presentation right here. So you can send this out through listings to leads to all your, for example, all your buyer leads, all your seller leads, or just everybody, and send it. You could copy the code. Let's copy code, but a lot of times I just copy the email. And let me bring up Follow Up Boss. And you can do this with any CRM. You can use the copy code, but I found just copying the darn email, why deal with the code? So give me a second here. I'm going to bring up Follow Up Boss and I will show you. And whether it's Bold Trail or Lofty, just go to where you're going to send an email and just paste it in there. It looks phenomenal. And then I would grab whatever the subject line and I would paste that in. And like I said, I might add in that I meet with a homeowner in American River Canyon. I might say 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2,500 square foot, single story home. Just give a little bit of color so people get a little bit of a better feel for it. And then send that to the people in your database, right? Get a little bit of a pre-interest list going. And then again, that way, A, it's great engagement with your database. B, it's something that you can talk to the homeowners about at the listing when you're talking through the marketing. Flipbook. So here's the PDF, and I just click the download, and it's going to download just like what we saw before. So that is their home. There's my introduction. Again, I'll show you where the introduction here is in a second. And just like what we saw before, whether it's a canceled, expired, FSBO, or a standard listing presentation, we are going to win more of these. It's going to be easier for you to win them. You're going to have better conversations around your commissions than ever before. That other agent that came in there talking about 5%, 6%, and they had maybe a 1 or 2 pager that they talked about, and they fumbled through a little bit about discussing it. With this presentation, and I'll tell you, here's a really cool thing. I think a lot of you probably have noticed this, is all you have to do as you're going through this on the flip book, right? So again, I wouldn't try to go through the print version, because you're sitting there and you're just pointing at it on the table. When it's on a laptop or a tablet, you can all sit around and just look at it, I think, a little bit more comfortably. But all your talking points are right on the page. So you don't have to try to memorize anything. You don't have to try to fluff anything up. All the talking points are right on this page. So you're just essentially, I wouldn't read through it. That sounds a little bit weird, but I would just paraphrase briefly every single page. So I might just say, for example, here, we do paid advertising on Facebook and Instagram. So every time we've changed the status, we're going to run more ads, and these generate great leads. I typically get name, email, and phone number so that I can make sure I follow up with them as fast as possible. I also have an AI text tool so that every time a lead comes in for your property, they will be responded to almost immediately. And then I will respond to them quickly as well with a personal phone call. We do social media marketing, and we do that on Facebook, on Instagram, on X, on Google, on LinkedIn, so that we want to make sure that your property is shown on all of these platforms in both free and paid manners. And again, just talking through a little bit here, we will put your home on YouTube, right? You get a YouTube listing video with your property and listings to leads. You also may do, for example, let's say you do property videos or you do a 3D tour. You can mention that here as well. So you can say, we do a couple of different YouTube videos for your property. One will be a video of all the photos of the property. We also do a second walkthrough video with a professional videographer. And so we'll have both of those videos on YouTube, which is the #1 video website in the world, the #2 visited website on the internet, and it's great SEO for your property. And again, just very easily going through this thing, paraphrasing the information on each page. This is something that on listing flyers, I know it sounds funny, but it's a great point to make sure you mention. And this again was brought to us by a client who said, can you highlight that URL on the flyer page, because the sellers absolutely love that domain. So these domains are actually editable. So if you get a domain, when you prepare it, and I'll show you here in a few minutes how you can edit that domain if you wanted to. But look at that, right? 1200 Riley Street .thebestlisting.com. And I would point that out to the homeowner, right? I'm going to be advertising your property with the street address and the domain, the best listing. Yeah, we are, this is being recorded and it will be on our YouTube channel. I'll point you in the right direction here a little bit later on that, or you can always get with our support team on that. Here we talk about, we'll use text codes, and this is where I would have them scan under mobile marketing. That is the one. And again, I'm going to scan it real quick. If anybody here wants to scan one of those QR codes, I'm going to hold out here for a second. I'm going to scan that. Oh, beautiful. Look at that. Everybody see that? Boom. Exactly what's on the page. It looked like in the camera, it's coming up a little bit silver, but it's actually gold, just like what you see here. Absolutely beautiful. Zana Sampson, what was that question here? Let me see real quickly. Would it be a good idea to send a QR code to the link to the PDF guide? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we'll talk, Rosanna, we'll talk about that in a minute, but yeah, that could be one great idea for sure. I like that. Let's keep going through here. Again, just showing, that we use QR codes, got the beautiful full screen, reach and frequency. No, you can actually take out the coming soon page. I'll show you how to do that in a few minutes. But check this out. Whether you do coming soon as a marketing status or not, I would leave it in. And here's why. Let's just say if you do coming soon, then this is easy, right? You can speak to it, no problem. But let's say you don't do coming soon marketing. I would still leave this here and I would say, we are going to make sure during the coming soon phase, what we do is we make sure we get all the photographs, we get all the paperwork done, we get it into the MLS, and we make sure everything is dialed in so that when we hit the ground running on day one of just listed, that we are going to come out of the gate as strong as possible. So I would leave the coming soon in. I'll show you how to take it out if you want to. But again, I would leave coming soon in here just because you can speak to all of the pre-work that you're going to do while it's coming soon, because it's always coming. There's always a coming soon phase, whether it's coming soon marketing that you're doing or just coming soon, i.e. we're getting the property ready to list. Then so now check this out. This is and you might want to take a note on this. And this came to us from another client as well. So have a calendar, right? It could be you got a notebook and you got a little calendar, you got a pen. And when you get to this part right here, you will likely know what is their time frame for moving. So it is now, and I'm just going to write this down on a piece of paper. Today's August 11th, or what? Actually, no, it's the 13th. Yep, August 13th. And let's say they want to be out by October 20th. And what is average days on market in some of your areas? So somebody just throw down what is an average days on market in your area? Maybe 30, 40, 50 days on market right now. So let's just say, let's see here. Michelle, yep, love it. 72. Oh, Gordon, 72. Holy crap. October 20th is going to be a bit of a stretch. Pre-assess 20. I'm going to use 40 right in the middle. So 40 days on market. So it's October 20th, man, that's going to be a bit of a stretch. So October 20th, let's see, August, September, October, man, so we want to be listed by why am I blanking? By September 1st, right? So by September 1st, today is August 13th. So that would give us about 2 weeks of free time. Okay, that's fine. So now you're not going to ask them right now. You would have asked them this before, maybe when you schedule the listing appointment, you want to find out what is our time frame for moving. But start writing down in your calendar. So you want to be out by October 20th, and you write that down, and then you back up and you say average days on market is 40. So that means we want to be listed by September 1st or September maybe 10th. That might be more appropriate. Today is August 1st. I'm actually forgetting escrow. All right. So we got 30 days of escrow. That's 70 days, right? Yeah. No, we're going to want to get listed today, which is perfect. And so here's the deal. So coming soon, now understanding that you want to be out of here by October 20th, we've got 40 days on market right now, average days on market with a 30-day escrow. So I've already taken the liberty of doing a tentative photographer appointment for your property. And I got him scheduled for Friday on the 15th, completely tentative. He's a great photographer that I work with. So I can move him around, no problem if needed. But understanding that you want to be out by October 20th, I want to make sure that we got everything set up to get you going as fast as possible in this market. So in the coming soon phase, we'll get the photography done. We will make sure the property looks amazing. I might give some suggestions on a little bit of curb appeal, making sure that the property looks great, both in the front and the back. And then of course, we'll get all the paperwork done in this time. We will go just listed on September 1st, or maybe even the 20th, right? The 20th of August. And we'll do the just listed. So on August 20th, we'll hit market as just listed. We will have our entire marketing plan ready to go and out the door. And then on the first weekend, we'll do an open house. And we got a great open house marketing plan that we'll implement as well. We'll invite all the neighbors. We will be doing Facebook ads. We'll be doing social media campaigns, a campaign to our database, inviting everybody we know and more to the open house. Now, you may do catered open houses. You may do a lot of other things. Talk that up if you do that. After the open house, we will look to take offers. We want to make sure, though, that we get as many people seeing your property as possible. And all of you are going to be different. I'm just giving you one example. But then we'll take offers after the open house. If we don't get any, we'll keep marketing the property. And again, with the average days on market being 40, but with our marketing plan, hopefully we'll get that a lot quicker. But then we'll go to active if need be. And then once your property goes pending, we are not going to stop marketing your property. So expect to have your property in contract by, if we go on market on September 20th, let's say October 1st September 20th at the latest, we're going to keep marketing your property all the way through pending, right? We just never know what can happen in this market, but we're going to keep marketing so that way the buyers know that there are other people still interested in your home. And then we'll look to get your property sold, close escrow on October 20th, the date that you want to be able to move out. And you're going to see that their heads are going to just be nodding up and down with you, and that you've walked through the entire marketing plan, that you walked through the entire transaction timeline, asking for the signature on the listing agreement so that you can get started now to get their property sold. You're going to find that becomes almost like a walk-up. That is almost like a walk-up because they love the marketing, right? They're nodding, they're agreeing, they scan the QR code, they see the property website, they absolutely love it. You walk through the timeline from coming soon marketing, whether that's a marketing activity or a prepping activity, either way, we're walking through with the timeline, the different statuses and how you do your business. And so when you get to the part of having their home sold, they're ready to sign that listing agreement. Does that make sense for everybody? Someone said 30 to 40. Someone said 72, 20. So we're a little bit all over the place. And that's not surprising, right? And all over the country, people all over from Florida, Michigan, California. So everybody good on how to prepare that listing presentation and how to present it. We had one client, she won the first 3 listings she went on with it, which was awesome. So here's the one that we did just a little bit ago, 151 Tomlinson Drive. Let's click on the address. And so again, we got the PDF, we got the flip book. Looks great. Let's just go scan the QR code. And then I'm going to show you the introduction. And then I'll also show you this domain. Look at that, 151 Tomlinson world's best listing. Make sure you mention that to the homeowner when you're going through the listing presentation. Again, they love it. Linda says, yeah, no, exactly right, Linda. That's what I said earlier. I would leave behind the print version. In fact, I may not even give it to them until after we get done talking, but I would present on the flip book, whether it's my laptop or a tablet. Let me scan the QR code. Let's take a look. Let's see if in fact this is what we expect. I'm going to get my phone. I'm going to scan it. Let's see. Ooh, that looks so beautiful. That's a funky little house, huh? Let's see if I can get it. Make sure. Boom. Look at that. Beautiful. When the homeowner sees that on their phone right in front of you, it's almost like magic. It really is. They absolutely love it. So let's take a look at the domain. The domain, if you're in edit for the listing, click down here, domains. So and this is true for any listing, go to edit domains, and you can see the domain is right there. And there's a view, copy, or edit icons over here. Just click the edit and you can change it right here. Because sometimes it could come out like 151 Tomlinson D, for example. So If it's like that, just come in here and delete it, or I could go like DR if I wanted to. Now that's going to mess up the domain. It won't, excuse me, it won't mess it up. It'll just change it. That's what I meant. But once you present, don't make sure you don't change the domain. Just leave it. Hit save. And somebody says, if we use the text writers, can those be reused for future listings? 100%. Yes. Yep. For the sign writers, I don't like the sign writers with the QR code, and it'll work on the future listings as well, but I don't like the sign writers with QR codes, just because on a sign writer, when somebody scans a QR code, it is not dynamic, meaning I don't have their information. Right now, when I do a postcard, I can make a QR code dynamic because I can match a mailing address with a specific QR code so that for example, on the nearby homeowner letter or the just sold postcard, I could do dynamic QR codes because every mailing address can have a different version of the QR code. They all go to the same location, like the same landing page or the same property website, but they can all be a little bit different. So when a particular home scans the QR code, I know who scanned it. But on the sign writer, there's no way to know who's scanning it. All right. And so I like the sign writers without the QR code on it. I just want text 12345 to 25678. That's all I want on my sign writer. That makes sense? But yes, you do get a QR code for every listing automatically. So that's so that domain is going to be in the listing presentation, whether it's the one for listing presentation, expired, canceled, or FSBO. And that's how you can just make sure it's absolutely perfect. For the sheet or the part of the introduction, let me show you where that is. So go to the listings page, click on listing presentation, and under listing presentation print. So on the main listing dashboard, just click listing presentation, and then under listing presentation print, you'll see on the right-hand side a suggested structure. And the first item is introduction, and that's right here. And you can see what it's going to look like. My home sold. So that's what it's going to look like. And I can just add in here what I want it to be on it. I can not include it if I don't want it, but of course I like it. Another item was actually the coming soon marketing part. So let me show you where that is. We actually have that under settings. And we've got it there because if you don't do coming soon, then we just won't even add coming soon to your account, period. So right here, the very first option, I'm allowed to market coming soon listings. If you check that, then we will make that status available for marketing coming soon listings in general. And then we'll also add it to the listing presentations, whether it's a standard listing presentation, canceled, expired, or FSBO. So you can check and uncheck that if you want. But even if you don't do coming soon marketing, again, like I mentioned, I would still leave that checked so that I could speak to it when I'm walking through that timeline, right? When I'm doing my listing presentation, I go through the marketing of it, and then I go through the timeline of, okay, coming soon, we're going to do all the photos, make sure the property looks great. Then we'll go to just listed, then we'll do an open house, then it'll be active for at least a day or two, probably while we negotiate, or average days on market is X, then we'll be in contract, right? And then we'll be sold. So having that ability to go through and use that timeline and have coming soon as a part of that, even if I'm not doing coming soon marketing, is very powerful. All right. Yeah, Priya, you can use the same writer on all of them. Yeah. So back to listing presentation tab right here and listing presentation print. Notice in the structure, you'll still have your CMA. Let's not forget the CMA. We've got the property marketing plan. That's the thing that we've been looking at, the flip book, the PDF, the 26 pager. There is also a home selling process outline. Now, this is fully editable, and this is phenomenal as well. So advice, marketing, preparing, showing, feedback, offer presentations, final negotiations, purchase and sale agreement, escrow, closing date, possession date. There's a little information that's fully branded to you. Your logo is on it. But this is another great thing to have, again, just to show off to the homeowner, to show the homeowner all the things that you're going to be doing above and beyond just the marketing. All right. Marketing is part of it, obviously, but there's a lot more to that transaction that they may not be thinking about. And especially if you get some of those crazy people who might think, oh, I think we'll just go FSBO. Because some of those agents, they come in there and they do a CMA, they do a one pager about the marketing. Of course, some of these homeowners are going to think they can do it themselves because the agent didn't really show off to the homeowner all the things that are involved in not only just the marketing, but the entire transaction. So between the 26-page PDF or flip book that you're going to use, the seller process outline, phenomenal. And then lastly, how to prepare your home for sale. This is a great PDF and it's available in English and Spanish. And again, this is something that was a client was doing, and it's just a leave behind. This part I used to have when I had my print up and I had the nice binder before I lost it when I was in Florida. I left it in the Airbnb, and on the way back to the airport, they called me up and they said, "Oh, by the way, we've got your presentation here for your listing, apparently." I'm like, it's not even worth mailing it. So I got to get a new one. But in that presentation, I had the seller process outline. I had the 26-page marketing plan, and I had this as well. And this is, I don't think if you wanted to go through it, you could. Some of the things that you can do ahead of time just to make selling it easier. Talking about some of the repairs and maintenance and making sure we get the house clean. Make sure we got good curb appeal. Talk about showings and open houses if that's something that you're doing. And then, of course, again, talking about the suggested listing presentation structure. Don't forget the listing agreement. Because I'm telling you, by the time you go through all that marketing, by the time you go through the seller process outline, commission is not going to be that big of a deal at that point. Getting the listing agreement signed is not going to be that big of a deal. Unless they, for some reason, are just not thinking about selling, and maybe you didn't do a good enough job qualifying them, or sometimes they're just stubborn and they're the kind of people that are not going to sign it right now. But most of the time, you will be able to get that listing agreement signed right there. So do not forget your listing agreement. All right. Any questions about anything so far? Linda says, are you buying the domain? No, Linda, you get that domain for free with Listings to Leads. Those domains are free. Yeah, let me show you. Here, if I go to listings, in fact, that one right there, 151 Tomlinson Drive, we literally just added it to Listings to Leads. Remember that? And so when you click on edit, you see there's an edit right here below the address. There's edit on every one of them. So if I click on edit and I go to domains, then I'm going to edit the domain. So I'm going to click edit for the domain. You've got all these options. The best listing, world's best listing. These are all for free. We make these available for you. Is home now? Is the best house? Beautiful home for sale. My tours online. besthomeinamerika.com. americasbestlisting.com. So we own all these domains and we make them available for free for your listings so that you can do something like this, where now my single property website is at 151tomlinson.worldsbestlisting.com. Does that make sense? Somebody says we don't have the listing presentation itself in Spanish, unfortunately. That should be something that we should probably do at some point. No, the CMA is not auto-populated, so you'd use another program for the CMA. Andrew, if I need help, I'm really stupid. Andrew, what do you need help with? How do you get to the prepare your home for sale? You can go, Priya, you can go a couple of different ways. It's in the PDF guide section, but I accessed it via on the listing presentation tab. So when I'm at listings, listing presentation, and then under the print, because this is all for print. So you've got the introduction that you can print. Then we got the marketing plan, home selling process outline, and then right there, how to prepare your home for sale guide. I don't have the prepare your in my profile. Catherine, yeah, ask support about that, but we're not in the profile. We're in the on the listings dashboard. So click the listings page and listings to leads listings, then the tab called listing presentation, and then it's under listing presentation print. Alternatively, and you can include any PDF guide you want. But if you go to PDF guides right here, it says PDF guides, there's 80 different ones for home buyers and home sellers. And if I go to if I just type in prepare in the search, and I can just scroll down and take a look at all of them, it's right there. Can't be stupider than me. I learn and try something new every day and it becomes routine. Yeah. Yakov, exactly right. Exactly right. Yeah, Andrew, you get into the mastermind group or just email support because putting together the presentation is, even if you don't use the PDF or the seller process outline, if all you do is upload the photo and print this and have the flip book up on your screen when you go to present, that's all you need. All right. Don't overcomplicate it. That's the one thing I would tell people is don't overcomplicate it. But at the same time, don't wait till the last second. So what you might want to do is if you don't have a listing presentation coming up, I would add like a dummy listing or a demo listing for a listing presentation. So come into listings, go to add listing manual, and you can go to Chat GPT. And in fact, I've done that for a lot of the images for my listings. And in fact, the one for my canceled listing was done by Chat GPT. And I just said, create an image of a $600,000 home in Folsom, California in the American River Canyon neighborhood. And it gave me a great looking property. And I just used that as my image. And so again, I click on the green add listing button. And then when I'm on this page here, go to listing presentation, add in a dummy name, Joe Franklin, just make up a name, make up an email, make up a phone number, 555-1212. All you have to do is add the headline and the street address, and then upload the photo on the next page and create it so that way you got you can walk through the PDF. I wouldn't print a dummy PDF. That's $8 to $10 I don't need to be spending. But what it will let me do, because this is a dummy listing, there's no 151 Tomlinson Drive in Folsom. I just made that up. But what it does allow me to do is it lets me practice with it so that when I get to a listing presentation, I'm more dialed in. Again, I got the flip book, I got the PDF, and I can just be comfortable with it. I don't want to, because you don't want to have a listing presentation coming up. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, what do I do? And it's so easy to do. Once you do it once, you're going to realize like, oh my gosh, that is easy. Monica, I take on listing at a time or make decision on one FSBO to start play with yeah. Or, you know what I would do? So for example, I got My Plus Leads up on my other monitor and I'm looking through it and I'm looking here and I'm looking at some of the addresses. Got Valley Springs, Stockton, California, Amador City, Auburn, Citrus Heights. I'm looking at all the locations of today's canceled and expireds. Elk Grove, Folsom. Here we go. I got one in Folsom. And I'm going to change the address a little bit. But it's the address, and I'm going to just change it a little bit. But this is 306 South Lexington Drive in Folsom. Canceled. I can see the homeowner's name, phone number. I got their email address. It's a 4-bedroom. It's a 3-bath, $850,000. It was on the MLS for $825,000. I might go let me do a Google Street View real quick here. And you could just do this with your MLS, I think. I'm going to pop that and I'm going to bring up the Google Street View for you. You won't know. I don't want to bring up the address. Ooh, that's a nice house. Ooh, that's nice. Here we go. Hold on a second. And in fact, it's 11:54. So check this out. I'm taking a screenshot of the home, and I think that looks good. So here's that home right there. I'm gonna just save it. Just do 11111. Hopefully that's a big enough image. I think it should be. I'm gonna go to add listing manual. So this is canceled. Was it canceled or expired? Let me look. I'm in my plus lead. It's canceled. Okay, perfect. So I'm gonna go status, canceled, down here at the very bottom, right? Canceled, expired. There's FSBO, canceled. And let me see the owner's name. The owner's name is X. Okay, so I'm gonna just change it up a little bit. It's similar to that, but it's not that. I got their email. And I got my plus leads open up on my other monitor. I got their phone number. I'm just gonna change a few digits, but I just want to go through this with you because I want you to see how ridiculously easy this is. And I got the street address, and that's all I had to do. Save and add photos, upload image. I saved it to my computer. There it is. 111111. The only caveat to this photo is it might be a little bit small, but it should be good. It should be good. For $850,000 listing that canceled, that's probably getting a lot of phone calls from people. I would print this up and I would go door knock it. I could email the link. Let me just skip, save and start. Oh, I hope I didn't. Oh, did I do skip and not add the photo? Let me see. Nope, perfect right there. So again, that's going to take a minute, but check this out. I got this landing page done in like what, 2 minutes? Like literally, it literally took me like 2 minutes. Why is there a pre-listing tab? You mean under the listing presentation section? And what do we put in whatever. I mean, for the introduction, here, let's go back to the dashboard. Sorry, excuse me. Let's go back to listings. And we got a few more minutes, so get your questions in. But for under listing presentation, again, print. What would you put here? Just about you. All right. Now I would try to, and this, I might go to Chat GPT. And for example, maybe, oh, if you got Zillow, realtor.com, maybe your website, maybe you just got a list, I might go to Chat GPT and say, I need a intro to put in front of my listing presentation so that homeowners get to know just a little bit about me, but make it a value add proposition so that as they're reading the introduction, that the introduction is not about me all the way through, but it's how I help homeowners in area X or in this area get their home sold for top dollar as fast as possible, as stress-free as possible. And please include a few of my listings as you see here on Zillow or realtor.com or your website or wherever you got a list of your sold listings, or just paste them in there. And then just copy and paste from Chat GPT right here. Anytime you copy and paste anything on the internet, you're going to copy a lot of invisible code. So if you were to copy and paste into the introduction, a little pro tip is to make sure it looks perfect is just highlight everything like that. And there's a remove format button. And I just remove format and save it. So Rotasha, does that answer your question, or whoever it was? Yeah. Not at this point, not at this time. But if I'm going to mail it, I could prepare some other and I can just add it before I bind it. For example, but listen, don't overcomplicate this. Nobody has ever come to me and said, Scott, I lost the listing because I didn't include the fact that I do XYZ. This is probably 10 times more than what the average agent is bringing in for marketing of the property. When you get in front of them, if you want to talk about and have a slick regarding the 3D tours that I do, the property videos that I do, the vertical video walkthrough campaigns that I do. That is all phenomenal. But at that point, you're just piling on to this. So in the intro, or when you're going to market, for example, to a canceled, I can't promise anything, but I can almost guarantee you that the previous agent wasn't doing all of this. If you want to use something like Canva, go ahead and include it in the print version. If you want to have another tab open so that when you get done with the flip book, right, when you get done with that flip book, you might have another tab open here that then talks, oh, by the way, I've also got 3D drone videos. I do property walkthrough videos that I do. I offer free staging consultation as part of my service. So, you know what I mean? Does that make sense? And let's go back and see is that new one that we just added. And so I might every day go through My Plus Leads or go through whatever program that you may have available to you and just add in a couple of listings. Yeah, not bad. Let's take a look. 306 Lexington, world's best listing. Awesome, beautiful. Let's scan the QR code. Let's find out, is the homeowner going to be majorly impressed with us or not? Oh, yeah. Nice. Now, because the photo was small, it's not the full screen version, but look at that right there. And I'll tell you, let's do something else, or not something else. Let me do this. I'm going to make that photo 1200 pixels. I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger. I'm going to resize it to 1200 because images that are 1200 pixels will create the full screen virtual tour. And that's why if you go take a photo, you're pretty much guaranteed you'll create the full screen. But now if I come into photos, see how and it tells me it's 640 pixels. So that's not big enough for the full screen version. So I'm just going to cancel it or delete it, excuse me. And let that delete. And then I'm upload the larger one. You can always send it to support if you need to upsize, enlarge your photos. Most of you are probably familiar with how to make a photo larger. What site do you use for canceled expired? I got My Plus Leads is what I use. So there we go, upload images. And let's re-upload that because I made it bigger. So 1200. And this is why it's always good. I want to do it once or twice so I'm comfortable and I know what are some of the maybe little idiosyncrasies. Like, this is fine. Like, no one's going to look at this and go, oh, that's awful. But I know myself that the full screen version would look a lot nicer. And I'm a stickler for this kind of stuff. Yakov, I don't have any feedback between them. So Yakov is asking, you got My Plus Leads, RedX, Vulcan 7, there's Active Prospect Boss, I think, and maybe others. So I don't really have any feedback on that. I don't want to say they're all the same with different names because every one of them is going to tell you they're different. Every one of those is going to tell you they're better. And there's going to be people that would tell you, oh, this one's better, that one's better. I think it's more dependent maybe on your area, but especially if you're in New York. New York is a little odd, not in an odd, weird way, but New York is just odd in the way that they do things in real estate. I know from a lot of other places in the country. So you may ask a few people in your local area if they use these kinds of services. And if so, which one works better for them? Linda, so you put a past listing as a listing guide as an example. Yes. Yeah, Linda, no, thank you for the question. Yeah, just so I can be comfortable doing it on my own. One thing I told another client recently is don't wait until you have to do something and you're on a deadline to get it done to try it for the first time. I want to be on my own time where I'm comfortable, I'm not being rushed, and then I can just do this. So that way, when I do have a listing presentation scheduled, then I've already done it once and now I know what I'm doing. And so now let's come back. Let's see if this will update. I'm going to scan this again. Oh yeah. Beautiful. Look at that. Can you see that? Awesome. And if I wanted to, I would just, so for cancel, what I might do is I might email it to the canceled homeowner. And in fact, you know what we'll do? Just like what we got for the listing presentation, I'll come up with an email. We'll put the email right here that you can use to email. I might send it to them via text, right? Take the flip book. Oh, I could even take this. I could send that via, because they're going to see their home right there. The complete marketing plan to get your canceled home sold. Oh, so hot. I might text that to the homeowner. Maybe the day after I send the email. And then if I'm really just like, you know what, it's an $850,000 listing. I might just print it up, use the thermal binder, and go door knock. Hey, I got their name. And if you're in the mastermind group, I dropped a post. This is a thermal binding machine that I've got from Amazon, and it's right in the mastermind group. I'll show you how to get there. And one more thing, there are print flyers that I would highly recommend that you use at an open house. And I showed this a little bit earlier in the call. You see this right here? When I'm doing an open house, I would have, even if it's Linda, even if it's your dummy one, your demo listing, that's not even real, I would take that still to my open house so that when homeowners or neighbors start coming through, just leave that laying around and you're going to see people just picking it up. And if they want their own copy of it, take the print flyer, which I'm going to show you next. Take that print flyer and put it in an acrylic flyer box at your open house. And so if they would like their own copy, just let them know. If you like a copy of this, go ahead and scan the QR code and it'll pop up right on your phone. And you can send it to yourself via email, or if you want to give me your email, I'll send it to you. To get to that print flyer that I just showed you, right? So this print flyer here, again, under listing presentation again, and you're going to see print flyers down here. There's two versions. We've also got postcards and door hangers. We got an email that you can send out to your database. Social media post, which I would highly recommend making sure you post that once in like every couple of months. Short form video script. This is something I would do every month. I would do the short form video script every single month. We've got ads. This might be something where maybe if I got a custom audience, my database uploaded, I might run this as a either video view, traffic, or lead ad to a custom audience for a couple of dollars a day to keep this in front of my database or homeowners in my area if you got a custom audience. So for example, My Plus Leads, RedX, you can download a list of all the homeowners in the area, upload that into Listings to Leads. We create a custom audience for you. And then I can run these to that audience for just a couple of dollars a day. Somebody asked earlier about the pre-listing packet. If you send people something before the listing presentation, I would not send them the entire thing. I want to be there when they go through this for the first time, in particular because of that QR code. But there is a 4-page summary version. All right, that's still their home on the cover. We go through page 1, page 2, or page cover is 1, I guess, page 2, page 3, and then page 4. Yeah, that link, and let me show you how to get there. So if you go to the marketing calendar, YouTube, all of our socials, you can access to the marketing calendar very easily. So marketing calendar, resources. Here's our YouTube where you can catch all the recordings. Either go to the live tab or current webinars. And then for the mastermind group, click join group. If you're already a member, you'll probably already have it on your laptop or computer or whatever. And then I'm going to add a few more links to a few other things. Like I'm going to find a nicer binder for you. So if you need a recommendation for a better presentation, because if I'm going into a listing, now for that canceled listing that we added just now off of My Plus Leads, that literally canceled today, This one from the thermal binding machine is totally fine, I think. But if I'm going into an actual listing presentation, I'm gonna want something a little bit nicer than that. I got that from, again, My Plus Leads, but there's also RedX, Vulcan 7, Active Prospect Boss. There's a number of other services that are available for that. Hosanna, you know what? There is. You know what? I'll tell you what. I will drop it into the mastermind group a little bit later. Let me see. Hold on one second. Let me see something here. Can I stop screen? Give me one second. I will. Let me show you something. I will come right back and oh my God, I can't believe how late it is. And I can't believe how many people. Hold on. But give me, I'm going to show you what I've got and then I will, because I do have a letter. And hold on a second. That was for an actual one I did for a client. Let me get this another one here. Perfect. Okay. Give me a second. Let me bring up my screen again. Let me share my screen. 1 second here. Share screen. Entire screen. Boom. Share. Let me bring over the letter. Thank you for your patience. So I will drop this into the mastermind group. And so what I did is I just took a screenshot of the flipbook cover. This might be a little advanced for some of you. I'm looking at how I can add this into the system so that it's automatically created to have a cover letter. But what I did here is I just took a screenshot of the flipbook, right? So let's go to the flipbook. There we go. Go back to the cover, page 1. So I just took a screenshot. And you can use on a Mac Command Shift 2 or something. On a PC, you can do something similar. So I got that. And bring up that letter. So let's say I got the letter. I just paste in that little screenshot. I'm on a Mac, so PCs have this. And then what I did is I took this link. Let me just get rid of that. Oh, I just took this link. Now, there's not a QR code for a specific flipbook, but what I did is I just went to Bitly and you can create free QR codes. So at bitly.com, enter your destination URL, like where do you want that QR code to go to? Drop it in, generate. Oh, that's a short code. I want a QR code, excuse me. So short link, and there's QR code right here. So select QR code, create your Bitly code right there. Now you can customize it, but just for the sake of this, I'm going to copy the code, right click copy code, and then just paste it, just drop it on my letter. And I'm just going to put it right there. And there we go. And now if I make this I'll make it a little bit bigger because this is small. But let's see if I can enlarge. All right. So let's see if we can scan that QR code. So for those of you, I'm sure a lot of you are like, wait, what did he do? All I did is I took the flipbook URL. I just went to Bitly and I selected QR code, dropped in the link, and there we go. I just scanned it right from the letter. Yeah, the letter is something I just made up a while back ago. I'm trying to get it into the system. I'm kind of think like what would be the best way to do this. I will drop this into the mastermind group a little bit later. And what I'll do is I'll just in fact, I'll do it right now. Make sure you go through and you edit it for yourself. So just stay with me if you want to, so you can see where I'm doing this at, but in the mastermind group, Here's a post, and I'm going to say cover letter for expired, canceled FSBOs, right? Again, I wouldn't do this. Is canceled spelled right? I wouldn't do this for a listing presentation. Hello, Scott. They were ready to give up, but with my 130 days. And what I'll do a little bit later is I'll add an image so you can see where you just take this and drop it into a document, customize it for yourself. I'm going to do this. I know somebody will take this and they are going to not edit it and they're going to send it out. And so there we go. There is no L to L Realty. It's just made up. In fact, let me just do X, Y, Z. I always get the question, oh, Listings to Leads has a real estate company. No, we don't. Post. And what I'll do a little bit later is I'll add a little bit more information around this. I'll just mention screenshot the flip book, drop the link into Bitly, copy the QR code back onto your document, and then I'll show a image of what that should look like. Because you can't upload a PDF, unfortunately, or a doc. You can only upload images to Facebook, unfortunately. Yeah. All right. Julie, are you good there? So the letter's right here. I can't believe how many people are still on the call. Good to see everybody. We're in an hour and 20 minutes almost. That's fabulous. All right, everybody good to go with what we're doing here? We got the standard listing presentation. We got canceled. We got expired. You saw me literally create the PDF and flipbook in about a minute and a half, just going through. And again, because I can't show My Plus Leads publicly in a open webinar because you got people's private information, not private, but personal information, their phone numbers and their emails. But I'm looking at them right here. I got all of these. Here's another one for 739, canceled listing on Boxler Court, canceled listing 3-2 for 721,000. I got their name, first name Dawn, funny email, Buzzbutt something or other. And then I got another email with her name in it. Okay. So I got their name and email, and I could either go, and now if it's a great listing I want to get, I might go to either take a photo, or I think the one where that's the one that we literally, let me bring back up my StreamYard. This is the one that we literally just added. Look at that. That looks fabulous, man. So again, drop the landing page via text, send out the cover letter if I wanted to, print up the entire PDF if I want to, but start getting more leads. All right. Any other questions? Adriana, thank you so much. Make sure to share the love that is Listings to Leads. And let me make sure you guys know. In fact, just yesterday, somebody signed up for Listings to Leads, and when we say, how did you hear about Listings to Leads? 2 people. They said another agent's name. They did not use the affiliate link. So make sure if you are talking about Listings to Leads, grab your affiliate link. There's a tab here called affiliate link. Just come over here. I think you have to add a PayPal email to activate it. And then once you do that, you get 15% recurring. So as long as they are a client of Listings to Leads, you get the 15%. So you can copy that link, share it with people. There's an email that you can send out. You can post it. Like, for example, if you belong to a Facebook group, you could post this to it. If you do lunch and learns, some people do lunch and learns. A lot of lenders will do lunch and learn, and then have the print flyer available for agents that want to sign up under their affiliate link. So a lot of great stuff right there. Yeah, Gargi, and I hope I pronounced your name right. Ask your broker on that. So just ask your broker, because it's too hard for me to explain it. But like I said, I use My Plus Leads. I got all the information right there. But if you're having a hard time with that, I would for sure ask your broker. And Rosanna says, dumb question, forgive me. So the flip book, the listing presentation are the same thing. Yes. The flip book is just one version. Let's go back and look at it one last time. It's called the same thing in every case. But whether it's a canceled listing presentation, expired, or FSBO, when you click on the property address for any one of those statuses, download, that's the PDF. That's the one that we're going to print. That's this one. Flipbook, that's like the online magazine version. That's this one. And then landing page, that's the one that you can share where they have to fill it out, right? They click download now, name, email, and phone number, and then they get the PDF. Again, when I go to a listing presentation, I'm going to take the print up, nicely bound. I'm going to have the flip book up on my tablet or laptop, and that's what I'm going to present from, like we talked about earlier. I will leave the PDF version, right, the one that we printed behind, so that they can see it later. And then after, as part of my follow-up, I might, you don't have to, but I might just send this and say, hey, it was great to meet you, and yada, all the great things that you do, and include a link to this to say, hey, if there's anybody else that would like to see the presentation, they can always download it right here. And that way, again, if they start sharing it with their friends and family and you get people downloading the presentation, oh, wow. I would call them up and just say, hey, you must be friends with John and Susan, whatever. Be appropriate with giving out information. Don't be talking about other people too much, but just say, yeah, we got a great presentation. Are you thinking about selling your home? Whether it's now or in the future, but now you got another possible great lead. All right. I think we're good to go, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. As always, love your feedback, and make sure you get to the mastermind group. Leave some comments. I want everybody here. I can't believe how many people are still on. Get into the mastermind group, leave some comments. I want to hear your comments. I want to hear your feedback, and we'll see you next time. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.